Hey guys, today we're going to draw the front end of a pickup truck. This is the front end here, and it actually connects to this. Oops, goes that way. That's the cab, and it's got windshield on there. So there's the next section. Oops, we're missing some tires. Put the tires on. See, kind of gets built up like a Lego. We're just missing the back now. Alright, let's put the back on. It's got a little bed, and then our last wheel. There we go. So we're going to draw this up in parts, one by one, and then we're going to use an assembly document to put everything together. Let's get started. Open up an Onshape document. You can title it whatever you want. I just titled mine truck. And I've got some blueprints here that I found on the internet. We'll be using this to help us draw the truck. And you know, it's got all the different parts. The passenger section, the front end, the windshield, the connectors, the axles. So we're going to go ahead and start with this front end here. And I'll be pulling all my measurements from this blueprint. And I kind of already snipped the part that we need to start out with. And this is what we're going to draw here in Onshape. You'll notice this is the side view of our, the side view of our front end. We're going to draw the side view and then we're going to extrude that. So we're going to start by drawing a construction box. So I'm outlining it right now. I'm going to use the rectangle tool, and I'm also going to select construction as I draw this box. Alright, so let's go ahead and do a sketch on the front plane. And I'm just going to move my view cube so I can view the front. I'm going to choose my rectangle tool and make sure it's construction. I should have two highlighted boxes on my toolbox. And I'm just going to draw this. And I do have measurements for this box. We got 1.6 by 1.53. So let's type those in. 1.6 by 1.53. There we are. I'm just going to move these measurements out of the way a little bit. Alright, so that's kind of just to let us know. It's going to be like a guide to help us out. So next thing I want to do is draw another construction line to help guide us. You'll see it's drawn here on, and it's also dashed or dotted line. It's got a starting point and an ending point. So notice that it's connected to the right side of our rectangle, and it goes about 1.5 towards the left, and it's from the bottom edge 1.125. So when we choose line tool, make sure it's construction. Start it from the left edge, and just for now, I just want to make sure that it's got a horizontal constraint. That line has got to appear. And again, this was a dimension of 1.5. Alright, let's do some dimensioning from that line to the bottom edge. I believe was 1.125. Let me check that. Oh yeah, 1.125. Alright, so far so good. We have our guides ready to go. Alright, next thing we're going to do here is draw our first arch. We're going to use the arc tool. This arch has a radius of 5. And it's got a starting point of the upper right corner of the rectangle and an ending point at the end of that construction line. We're going to use a 3-point arc to draw that. So go find your arc tool and make sure you're using 3-point arc. I'm going to choose my starting position. So that upper right corner, I'm going to click there. Then I'm going to click the end of my arc. And it's okay if it's backwards because I can actually just pull this. And don't lock it into anything. We don't want that yellow highlight. We want to just keep it free. So I'm just going to choose up here somewhere, and I'm going to type 5 because 5 is my radius, and hit enter, and it'll just automatically resize. Alright, so there's our radius of 5. So there's our arc we just drew. Alright, up next, we're going to draw the small arc on the bottom left corner. Let's get this one right here. Alright, you'll see that it's got a center point that measures 0.3 from either edge. So we can actually use this center point to help us draw the arc. It's also got a starting point and a stopping point for this arc. So let's go ahead and first start by drawing a point. So I'm using the point tool. I'm just going to set it down there for now. I'm going to dimension it to be 0.3 from either edge. And then 0.3 from the bottom edge. Alright, and then I'm going to this time use the center point arc. Since they gave us the center point, that's how I know to use the center point arc. And there's instructions there on how to use it. We first have to click on the center and then the start and end points. So I'm going to click the center of my arc. Then I'm just going to come straight across, making sure I'm leveled. You can see my horizontal constraint once again. I'm going all the way to that left edge, making sure it's highlighted. Click again, that's my starting point. I'm going to draw my arc down. And Onshape kind of guides us. I'm going to click again a third time, and there's my arc. So that was 3 clicks to draw the arc. Just click on the center point, the start, and the end. Alright, so that one looks good now. Let's go ahead and draw our next arc, which is going to be, let me see, this guy right here. It's got a radius of, kind of hard to see, I think that says 1.375. Let's see if I can move my screen a little bit. Oh yeah, you can't really see that. I think it's 1.375. We'll find out. So I'm gonna use the 3-point arc again. 3-point arc. I'm just gonna click starting point, ending point, drag out a little bit, and then 1.375 is, I think that I saw. Oh, it must not be right because that doesn't look like it matches. So I might have to go back and look at my blueprints one more time and find out what the arc is. Where is that? Alright, sorry about that. This dimension is actually 2.375. I had to go back and look it up. 2.375 on that radius of that arc. Alright, and that does look much better. Alrighty, so we're almost there. We just need to draw 2 final lines to enclose this shape. So the 2 final lines that we're going to draw next is basically this horizontal line that starts at the end of that arc at the bottom, and then this vertical line. There we are. Oops, my bad. That's supposed to be straight. Came out kind of weird. I must hit my hand on something. Alright, so let's go ahead and use the line tool. And I'm just going to start and draw my bottom line using my box as a guide. Oh, this one goes all the way to the top. And see how that turns gray? That's good. That means the shape is enclosed and it's ready to extrude. Alright, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude this. And going back to my blueprints, I can see that this is going to be extruded 3.17. That's the length of the stretch all the way across the front end. So I'm going to use 3.17 for my depth. Now I want you to take a look at how this extrusion happens. See it's coming forward from the front plane. If I hit that opposite arrow, it's going to go backwards. I'm going to actually do something that we've not done before. I'm going to use this symmetric checkbox. Look what happens when I click symmetric. Boom! So it's half and half. Half forward and half back. This is going to help us a lot when we're drawing like our headlights. That way we can use our reflection, our mirror tool, the mirror tool, and I'll just draw one set of headlights and then I'll mirror those to the other side. Alright, I'm going to green check mark that. And we're going to do a fillet. Round out this. It's kind of square looking right now. So let's use the fillet tool. And I'm just going to click on all these edges around the right side of my shape. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And then on the front, I'm just going to click that top one. There we are. Then all my fillets. Looking pretty good. Alright, so up next I think we're going to do the headlights. So these headlights here. So with the headlights, I'm going to have to use the dimensions right here. So I'm about 0.18 from the top edge to the center of my headlights. I'm about 0.32 from the right edge, and the two headlights are 0.27 from each other. So I'm going to go ahead and just use my right plane. New sketch on the right plane. I'm just going to rotate my view. Just drawing two circles. Here's one. And my second circle I want to be aligned, so notice how I'm going to hover over the center point and it gives me this guideline. There we are. And my circles were actually, let me see what size are my circles. Does it say? I think it does. I just gotta look at the right spot. Yeah, there we go. 0.2 is the diameter of these circles. So let me dimension the other circle. They should both be 0.2. Alright, and I know the dimension between the two circles was 0.27. Alright, then 0.18 from the top edge. So from the top edge to the center of the circle is 0.18. And then from the edge of the circle, from the left edge is 0.32. Alright, so I think we got this completely dimensioned now. And what I want to do is mirror these two circles to the other side, and without having to do all this dimensioning. So that's what the mirror tool is good for. So on your toolbar you can find this mirror tool. And my mirror line is going to actually be the front plane. That's like the reflection line. And entities to be mirrored are these two circles. So I'm just going to click on that circle. You'll see it mirrored on that side now. I'm going to click on the other circle, and that one also comes up. Alright, so now we have all our circles drawn. We can extrude those. So I'm going to hit extrude. Notice it's going in the wrong direction. It's supposed to go the other direction, so I'm going to hit the opposite arrow direction. I'm going to hit remove. Oops. Alright, there we go. Remove. And I want to actually remove this 1.1 on the depth. And that's actually creating those holes that represent the headlights. Alright, so far so good. The next thing we want to do now is let's do this pinstripe. You'll see here there's a kind of a pinstripe on either side. And we're going to use this measurement here to help us with that pinstripe. So we're going to draw a rectangle that measures 0.6 by 0.6, and then we'll place that 0.3 from the top edge. So let's go to the back side. Do a new sketch on the back of my shape. Rectangle tool. Just draw a rectangle right there. Again, that's 0.6 by 0.6. Oh crap! That's way too big. I must have read that wrong. 0.06. I'm missing a 0 in there. Alright, let's resize that. 0.06. And then this one's also 0.06. I was like, what? That's not right. And then from the top edge is 0.3. So from the top edge to the top edge of our rectangle is 0.3. See, I read that right? Yep, that looks about right. And let's again use that mirror tool. That way we don't have to redo everything. So mirror, is it the front plane? Yeah, the front plane. And I'm mirroring these 4 lines of this rectangle. And you should see, yep, it comes up on the other side. And we want to extrude these 2 rectangles, and we want to just extrude everything. So we're going to go through all. Oops, remove. not add. So we'll hit remove and through all. And that'll give us these pinstripes. Gonna hit the green check mark. Looking pretty good. Those little details really do make a difference. Alright, so we do need to still make the axles connectors. So let's go find that. Okay, see it down here. Alright, looks like we'll be using a circle. Oh, look, there's a hole note. We can use a circle, we can use a hole. Or maybe we'll do both. So this is going to be a circle that measures 0.29 in diameter. There's a diameter symbol. A depth of 0.35, and then positioned 0.3 from the bottom edge and 0.5 from the right edge. So let's go ahead and we'll start with this side. Alright, so we're going to do a sketch on this surface and draw a circle. I don't think I put it in the right spot, but we'll see. So the 0.29 is the dimension of the circle, and now we can say it's 0.3 from the bottom edge, 0.5 from the other edge. So 0.5 is this one, and then 0.3 is this one. Excuse me. And we want to extrude that 0.35. So I'm going to hit the extrude tool, remove 0.35 on the depth. And I tried doing the mirror tool on this one, but it didn't work for me. I think because it's not on, the circles are not on the same plane. Alright, so there's our circle. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. That's just a hole for the axle. So for this one, let's use a new sketch, and this time we're going to use the hole tool. So I'm going to use the point tool, and I'm just going to measure this to be 0.5 from the back edge, 0.3 from the bottom edge. Alright, and I'm using the hole. I'm going to use hole, so I'm just going to check mark this sketch that has this point here. So I'm just going to select that point I just created, and remember we have a hole tool on our toolbar, and I'm going to make this simple. It's not blind. This is actually wait, no, it is blind. It's simple, it's blind. I'm going to give it a flat bottom. I don't want it to be angled. And my depth is 0.35 and the diameter is 0.29. So this first line is for the diameter, the second line is for the depth, and that's given to me on this whole note. I'm going to green check mark that, and we should get the same thing. Yep. So on this side we used the hole tool, on this side we just did a circle and extruded it. It doesn't matter which one you use, they'll both get the job done. Alright, so one final step, I believe. I think we got everything except for the back side. So you'll notice that there's a rectangle here on the back side. Let me see. Here's the dimensions of it. With fillets, and we're actually going to extrude that inwards. So let's go just to start by drawing this rectangle on the back edge. And this is actually the connector. So I'm drawing a sketch on that back plane. I'm going to draw a rectangle. And they didn't give us dimensions of the rectangle, but they give us dimensions from the edges. So 0.3 from the top and bottom edge. And 0.39 from the side edges. I believe it was 0.39. Yeah, 0.39. There we are. We're going to use the fillet tool to round off each of these edges at a I believe it was, I'm just going to click all the way around. Oops. And these fillets were, what size? Oh, 0.2. So right now these say 0.25, so I need to change those to 0.2. There you go, and all of them changed, so that's really nice. Alright, there we are. We have our nice rectangle. We're going to extrude that. Let's see how far. We look at our document again. There it is, 0.57 is how far that gets extruded inwards. So hit the extrude tool, remove 0.57. Green check mark. There we are. And that's, yeah, that's for a connector. A different type of connector. Alright, I think we're just about done. You know, I do want to put some words right here on the front edge of this. So I'm just going to do a new sketch on the right plane. And I'm going to use the text tool and just draw a box, and I'm going to make this a Automoblox. That's the name of this vehicle, this car. Oh no. Alright, so I'm going to notice first off it's backwards, so I'm going to hit edit text, and I do have this reflection to flip it horizontally. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Puts it the right size, and you also notice it's way bigger. So I'm going to use my dimension tool. This is measured 4.3 right now. I'm going to change that to 2.5. I think 2.5 will be just about the right size. And if I grab a corner, I could actually move this. And I want this to be centered, so I'm going to actually use my, I'm going to click on my origin, and I'm going to use my vertical constraint and click on the midpoint of my text. And then that's going to align those to align it to be just perfectly centered. Alright, next thing I want to do is extrude that Automoblox. I'm going to maybe extrude it 0.1. Let me see what that looks like. Oh yeah, I think that should work. Actually, that looks a little bit too much. 0.05. Let me see what that looks like. Oh yeah, that'll do it. Nice. I like that. Alright, we're all done here. That is the front end of our Automoblox truck. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.